Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We will also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 227 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. Now, this is my second year ever running. Within the first full year of running, at the age of 31, I was able to run 1,002 miles, and I did that within 175 days out of the year of 2020. So me going for 1,500 miles is over a 50% increase in the amount of miles as opposed to last year. And me going for 365 days is over a 100% increase in the amount of days I'll be out there running as opposed to last year, not to mention this year are all days in a row with no days off. I've also challenged myself within this time frame to run two big major races. One of those being an ultra race, a 50K trail race that was the 50K Yankee Springs Trail in Middleville, Michigan. I actually got that finished on June 5th, 2021. That was day 156 of my journey, I believe. I got that finished within 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. So I'm officially an ultra runner. And not only that, I was able to keep the streak alive up to and since that race. So also within this time frame, I've challenged myself to run another big race, which would be an actual regular marathon. That is coming up here in October. That is the Detroit Free Press Marathon. Really looking forward to that one. And I'm signing up to run the Motor City Challenge of that race, which entails me running the competitive 1 mile and the competitive 5K the day before the actual marathon. Other than that, though, we can talk about daily mileage, weekly mileage, monthly, and yearly mileage after today's run. So today I got out there again. This week I've kept it really short and sweet. But today I got out there and did 3.2 miles for the day. That put me at 15.9 miles for the week, which is a very, very low week. Which put me at 53.6 miles for the year, or for the month, which put me at 1,056.4 miles for the year. So let's focus in on these monthly miles. Every single month, I challenge myself to do a 100-mile challenge, and I do that in honor of a fundraiser in which I try to raise, in which I donate money to, and I also try to raise money and awareness for that fundraiser. So for the first 7 months, we were able to do that for 7 great fundraisers and charities. Now we're raising money again for another great fundraiser here within the 8th month, the month of August. And the 100-mile challenge is in honor of the National Psoriasis Foundation for the month of August. I chose this charity, the Psoriasis Foundation, because one, the month of August is Psoriasis Awareness Month, and as well, psoriasis is something that I have, and if I've had for a majority of my life. So I decided to choose a fundraiser that kind of has a little bit of meaning to me. So again, for this month, and every single month, you're able to make your donations. You can find that on the Defining Discipline Instagram story or Defining Discipline Facebook story, or my personal pages, Instagram or Facebook stories. Within those stories, you click on that link and it'll open up the Facebook page where you're able to make your donations. All donations that get made to this fundraiser, and any fundraiser for that matter, go directly to the fundraisers. Facebook is not taking any portion of your donations, so know that is a great reason why we continue to do it through Facebook, because they've made the agreement that all donations go directly to the charities in which they are designated to go to. So I do know times are tough. Not everyone is able to and can afford to donate money to these fundraisers. If that is the case, do not feel bad. But if you'd still like to truly help out, the best thing you could do is just click that share button. Putting in the fundraiser on your page does wonders, because we are trying to also raise awareness, not just money for these fundraisers, and for these charities throughout these months. We're trying to raise awareness, and the best way to do that is to get as many eyes on it as possible. And the best way to do that is to share it and put it on your page so people can see it. And also, when you share it, make sure you tell other people to share it. So let's just get as many eyes as possible on it, and let's try to raise money for this great cause here in the month of August. Other than that, guys, though, every single day I've challenged myself to try to read a little bit, to try to expand my vocabulary, and just to get a little bit, become better at reading as well, because reading was something I've always struggled with, didn't like, but I have fell off of that wagon for a while now, just because I've been so busy, especially with work, and then trying to come run and keep up with the podcast, as well as all of the other housework and things I have to do, as well as being a new father. So I just don't have a lot of free time within the day. I've been a very, very busy man, so I'm not complaining, but have not been able to really get the reading in, but really, truly do plan to as soon as I possibly can. But other than the reading, I have been challenging myself to do a word of the day, and we will continue to do that because that is a quick little thing. And today's word of the day is undulant. Undulant describes the rise and fall of waves, or things that move or have forms like waves. We follow the undulant green hills on our journey to the resort, which that's actually a very cool word. Glad I learned that word. Now, to remember it is the thing to do. But one way to do that is to screenshot. Never forget that one. Okay, that may be an episode coming up here real soon. Who knows? So undulant is the word of the day. Now we can kind of get into today's actual episode. As you can tell, I've been kind of talking fast, just because it has been late. I've been getting these runs in late and these episodes in late, especially this week, even though I've been doing less miles, just because I've been trying to really focus in on getting stuff done around the house that I've been putting off. So we're going to try to get this episode up and uploaded as quick as possible. So for that reason, we're going to get into today's episode. Today is episode 227, and today's theme for today's episode is respond. And I chose that theme today for a couple different reasons. One, I think this past few weeks, not only, again, have I said I've put down the mileage because I have been focusing on stuff around here, but honestly, the energy levels and the effort has just not been there, guys. And this happened last August too. Last August, a lot of things kind of popped up. A lot of stress level happened where the way I responded was just kind of shut down my training and shut down my running. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm still out there running every day and getting the miles in, but it's nowhere near as many miles. Like this point last month, I was at like 70 miles already. 60, 70 miles, and I'm barely pressing 50 right now. I've just not been, my heart's really not been in it this month. I've just had so many other things that are happening, and I think that's kind of me responding, one, to the things that are happening, and as well as me kind of responding to the month I put in last month. Like, last month was honestly an unbelievable month. I didn't really plan to put in 200 miles for the month, and I got ahead of myself and did it. Not only did I do that, I got vaccinated, got sick from the vaccination, but was still able to get out there and put in the miles enough to hit the 200. Like, there were so many factors that happened last month that I should have really not been able to do what I did, and I just surpassed it. And I think right now is my body kind of responding to all of the miles and things that I did like last month, and I'm kind of just not in it. Like I said, I'm trying to just slow it down, and I get out there and tell myself, I'm going to run more today. And, I'm barely pushing 2 some days. And a couple days this week, I did 1.5s. And these last 2 days, I did 3.1s just to get them in, because I was like, this week has been pretty pathetic. Like, I literally had to force myself these last 2 days to do the 3 miles. Deep down in my head, it just kept saying, this is good enough. You can cut it now. You're at 1.5. That's good enough for the day. I had to really push myself that extra 1.5 yesterday. And then today I really had to push myself from not turning to, at the 2 mile mark where I could have turned and made it just 2 miles. I was like, oh man, these were real struggles. And I think, again, it's my body kind of responding to all of the stress and all the things that I've kind of built up outside of my running and all of that. I don't have many hours in a day, like I said, just because the amount of hours I have been putting in at work. So it's kind of hard to really stay on task of getting the running done when there's things on the outside life that are kind of building up, and they're getting harder and harder to deal with because I have less and less time to deal with them. So me putting in these less miles and me kind of losing the passion within this running, it's actually kind of depressing to me, but at the same time I'm trying to maybe take it for what it's worth. Maybe this is happening for a reason. Maybe I need to slow down just a little bit. Maybe this will help out coming up here in the month of September. In October, maybe I'll get a recharge and really get back into the thick of things of really pumping out the miles. I'm ahead of schedule on the yearly miles. I'm ahead of schedule. Not ahead of schedule. I'm on schedule for the actual every single day. I've been running every day, but yearly miles I'm ahead of schedule. So falling behind a little bit this month won't hurt. I got to make sure I hit the 100-mile challenge still for this month, but maybe hitting just 100 miles and I'm really taking it easy, especially this month, because it's kind of, like I said, last month this was the same thing kind of happened. A lot of stress built up, and I kind of just, my body just kind of responded. I just kind of fell off really hard of the training. And this year, like I said, I've been able to stay consistent with the training, but I'm still kind of responding where I'm falling off a lot. Compared to running 200 miles last month to maybe getting 100 miles, really falling off 100 miles from last month to this month. So again, this could be just my body responding and my mind and my mental state kind of responding to a lot of the things that I need to really attend to outside of running and things like that. But on the other aspect of respond, I wanted to talk about respond because truly it is something we should all be thinking about, because no matter what it is, we will always respond. So whatever happens to you, we're going to have a response to it. And the way you respond to that thing will determine how you go forward from there. So what I mean by that is there are always going to be bad things and hard things within your life that are going to happen. And the way you respond to those things are going to really dictate and determine what's going to happen from there on. And if you respond to negative things within a negative way, the more negative things are going to continue to happen. So the main thing to really do is as hard as it is to try to respond to the things that really are negative. Try to respond to them and try to have a positive response. As hard as it is, as hard as it's going to be, try to stay positive as much as possible, because the way you respond to things will truly start to accumulate, and they'll start to build interest. So if you start to really respond to things in a more positive light, in a more positive way, more positive things are going to in return happen to you. They're going to respond back to you in a positive way. If you continue to live a woe is me lifestyle, woe is me is going to continue to happen to you. Bad things are going to continue to happen. And this is living truly from experience. From these past years have been a true test to trying something different, because for the longest time I had a negative outlook. I had a pessimistic outlook on everything. I responded to everything with a woe is me attitude. And it wasn't until I try, because I'm not perfect, I still do that from here to there, or from every now and then. I still respond badly, but the main thing I've tried to do over these past few years, and it's helped me tremendously, and I'm still working on it, like I said, but I've tried to respond to these things within my life with a positive outlook and a positive response, because I notice the more I respond and the more I think positively, the more positivity and positive things happen to me. So the way you respond to things truly matter. And again, I wanted to just retouch on what I was talking about earlier. I think my body right now is responding, and my mind and my mental state is kind of responding to all the stress and all of the things that I kind of put in last month. I put in a lot of miles, so it's kind of saying, hey, you can slow down. You need to focus on these other things that are popping up in your life that you've kind of been putting off. So that's my response right now, and I got to really try to focus on that. And again, I need to try to always work on responding to things with a positive outlook, because the more I do that, the more positivity I get in return. So guys, for that reason, your daily discipline today for episode 227 is going to be that. It's going to be think about how you respond to things, how you respond to everything, how you respond to your significant other, how you respond to your boss, how you respond to yourself when you tell yourself to do something, how you respond to anything, just a situation that may fall apart. How do you respond to that? How do you respond to when you spill something? There's many things. Just think about the ways you truly respond to things on a daily basis. And if you look at it and try to really analyze it and notice that maybe your responses are always more negative, maybe you could tie that into maybe why your life seems to be more negative. I don't know you. I'm not saying that is the cause, but really try to think about it. Try to analyze it that way. Try to maybe correlate the two things. Maybe you are upset and have a negative lifestyle. Maybe you're responding to everything negatively. That is something I discovered. So I've tried to take those negative responses and turn them into positive responses. And the more I've done that, the more I've gotten out of it. So I hope you guys can do the same. Try to really think about the way you respond to things and try to give it a more positive response as much as you possibly can. So other than that, guys, though, thank you so much for following along and listening. This is the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. This is episode 227. If you guys can, please give the podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on our Instagram, our Facebook, our TikTok, and YouTube, and whatever podcast streaming platform you guys have been following along and listening on. Other than that, guys, the whole message is to try to really work on ourselves on an individual level, because I truly believe the more we work on ourselves to become a better version of ourselves, the better the world will become in return because of that. So other than that, thank you guys so much for following along and listening. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 228. And until then, peace out.